Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Tuesday, May 3rd. And today, the moon moves into Aries. And so I know that about 3 to 4 days before, sometimes a week before the new moon starts coming, I am starting to feel the new moon's energy build. And one of the things that's very significant about today is that as the moon moves into Aries, it kind of ends whatever thought process we were on in the last couple days. And what we are in is cardinal energy emotionally. So for some of us, it's, I felt all these feelings, I went through all of this, I processed this, and I received in that energy. And so emotionally, we're motivated to, take things to the next level and make some decisions. Okay, so for some of us, we still have that beautiful grand earth trine kite that is in really beautiful harmonious energy, and then we have the grand earth trine that still is being influenced by Mercury. Today, a couple energies make today extremely interesting. Now, I want you to pay attention to the fact that the moon is in Aries, and having a moon in Aries, I understand moons in Aries extremely well. And it is very indulgent. It's a very indulgent, self-indulgent moon to have, because there are times when it is very difficult for me to understand the word no, or I can't have it, or I can't take the actions, that I've got to be patient. In this energy, I believe some of us are going to feel that type of energy in an extreme. And the reason for that is Uranus in Aries is going to quincunx the North Node all day. And then Venus in Taurus is going to quincunx Mars in Sagittarius from about 8 to the end of the day. So I believe that many of you are going to get stubborn, impatient, and resistant, downright resistant. And this is going to be all very ego-oriented. Now, what I deeply believe about this time frame is that I believe we're restructuring, by planets in retrograde, our sense of self, right? We're ending chapters and we're starting completely new chapters. More importantly, I believe that this is a sense of self that is, I watched this one amazing lady on YouTube, and she had talked about that when we're born into this world, our conscious mind goes to sleep and we live unconsciously, and we spend our entire lives waking our minds up and living conscious, being aware of our unconscious patterns and unconscious thought processes. What happens is we become programmed as children, and then as we go through life, we find the hidden self, right? We awaken the self, the actual authentic self. I believe that young people born in this time frame is so blessed because they're not as resistant to this process. I believe as we get older and we get set in our ways, we're resistant to the process of realigning with self, right? What the self needs, what the self desires. It's always in there. It's always working. It's the depth of us. But we can't ever, we can't really get it out. So I believe Uranus in Aries is all about the alignment of self. It is unexpected spouts of self reemerging. And it's been difficult because for some of us have up and left families and up and left situations and have done bizarre behaviors and have release the sense of self that we have submerged for so long. So when you are acting in a completely different way, or you are realigning yourself with self, with the self that you were always born to be, with the authentic self, I believe that we're the presence that we have, the past that we're releasing, the 5 planets in retrograde are essentially about releasing the old self and allowing the authentic self to emerge. And as we're doing that, we are making some radical decisions. There are some very radical behaviors that we are trying to understand and cope with. Again, that's the North Node in Virgo and the South Node being in Pisces. We are really honestly leading the lives that I think karmically we were always being guided to, but not understanding. Chiron being in Pisces and Neptune being in Pisces is allowing us to dive into our unconscious mind to reveal the sense of self. And I know this is like super deep and I don't know why the hell I'm on it, but whatever, I just go with the message. But today is one of those days where I believe that rituals that no longer serve the new self are going to become under fire. There's going to be drastic realizations in there. And some of us are going to resist that. Ego is still old ego. We're essentially what I feel like we are is the old self and the new sense of self were here, and we're breaking away, and this new self is coming out. It's kind of like when, your kids move away for the first time. They come back home all the time. Their old self is still a child attached to their parents, but their new self is re-emerging and becoming adults and finding out who they are separate of this, the sense of self with parent and the self that they identify with and get approval from. They find their sense of self out in the world and they identify themselves. So this is a time of being opinionated. You are going to be stubborn as the bull. You have Taurian energy flowing in you down to your core. Some of you are in resistance to this process, or better yet, some of you that have not awakened your sense of self are caught in the old patterns of life before the awakening, and you are wanting things to stay the same, so you're resisting the new and improved life. And so if you're not awakened and somebody in your life is awakened and they are making some radical changes and moves and you're resisting because you want it to stay the same because it served you, the old sense of self. But they're in your life karmically to shake you up and to release you from the same vicious, never-ending hamster on the wheel karmic cycle. So this is a progressive mindset, but for many of you who are caught in this quincunx energy, you are resisting it wholeheartedly because it's radical, it's different, it doesn't feel familiar. Lots of us attached to the sense of self that is familiar. So positive vibration, I'm loving to talk about more so than that negativity. And that was just the fact that we still have this grand earth trine. Guys, if you are starting to feel like you don't know what the hell is going on and that the realizations that Saturn is bringing forth and you just don't have the drive to deal with it and you're exhausted and the past is really looming and you're recalling and it's just there's a lot buzzing in the sense of self right now. I want you to attach to the grand earth trine, and I want you to envision peace and harmony. Get your butt out in nature. Get out there, walk, absorb. I don't care if you have to put a YouTube video on, if it's just terrible weather and you need to, attach to something good, put a YouTube video on that is nature sounds, nature, and just I do it all the time. If it's raining here and it's terrible weather, I just have nature on in my house. I don't even really watch TV. So, I believe that some of us what's hard about this time is that this is decadent energy. And so it's making us be excessive. And our desires are rich and very, very excessive. But the trine, the positive energy is pulling you to take a look at longevity and stability. And it's asking you to simplify. It's asking you to add structure to career, to your rituals, to your psychological processes that allow you to remain in a healthy mindset. It's asking you to have structure. And for some of you, you've been excessive for so long, you don't want structure. Structure means control, and you're resisting the control that you feel you feel it's controlling. It's not controlling, guys. It's just the universe's way of simplifying what you attach to. And if you do that, you are going to be loving life. You're going to be loving the harmony. You're going to be loving the peace. The sense of self will be at peace. I'm not saying that you get who you are at this point, but you don't feel like you have to prove anything, and there's not the sense of, just like you're impatient to get this revelation process over. In this energy, I think this energy is really deeply restructuring your mindsets. And I think that you may recall the past and all the opposition that I think some of you went through. That was very difficult. The past is a pull right now. The past is just a guide of what you don't want. And so if the past is coming up, or people are coming back from the past, or situations are coming back from the past, or excessive tendencies are coming back, then I think that that's just a way of the universe to say, hey, sorry, I'll restructure this. It's just the past way of saying, hey, you still have not resolved this issue. You've tabled it. And you need to, be aware of it. The grand Earth trine that's being caught up in Mercury is you don't want to resolve it. You just want to be like, I'm going with the flow. I don't want to freaking do anything. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I don't have energy, blah, blah, blah. I think that today, this harmonious flow of energy will intuitively guide you through some of these challenging energies. If you are really at peace with your sense of self, then intuitively having spirit guide you is no big deal. You're confident. Faith tells you that whatever you go through, you're going to be fine. Your sense of self is intact. You don't need to be defined by anything. So if something comes up that's unexpected, Uranian energy and quincunx is crazy unexpected energy. I would be mindful of that. I would be. And also Mars quincunxing Venus, there could be something that comes up in relationships or with something that you value that I think it's probably come up before, or because it's past related, or I believe that there is a realization in that area that you need to simplify that part of your life. You need to, what this is trying to do is make you increasingly aware on an elevated level that this is an area that needs to be worked on. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching the Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you.